In the last page of our study guide review, we're going to be dealing more with algebra related to equilateral and isosceles triangles, and the last part of our study guide deals with congruent triangles, rules to prove them congruent, and writing congruent statements, and the like. So let's look at number 16. It says QRS is an equilateral triangle. If QR is 17 more than twice x, I wrote that for us. RS is 19 less than 6 times x, I wrote that for us. And QS is 1 less than 4 times x, again I wrote that for us. Find x and the measure of each side. Well, here's the key thing right here. They're telling us equilateral triangle. What I know then is that all 3 sides are congruent, so I can pick any 2 that I'd like. I'm going to go with 2x plus 17 equals 4x minus 1. Again, you can use any of them. They're all congruent. So, I'm going to add 1 first. I'm going to go 2x plus 18 equals 4x minus 2x from both sides. And over here I'm going to rewrite that. I'm going to go 18 equals 2x divided by 2, x equals 9. Okay, so if they want us to find QR, we need to plug 9 in for QR up here. So QR is 2x plus 17. I'm going to go ahead and plug that 9 in there. That's 18 plus 17. That's going to be 35. Now here's the thing about this. If it's an equilateral triangle, you could go ahead and plug in your 9 for all of those, but what I do know is that all sides are the same. They're all going to be 35. Alrighty, moving on. In number 17, triangle JKL. If JK is congruent to JL, I'm going to draw the marks there. Angle J is 23x minus 24. Angle K measures 4x minus 1. And angle L measures 9x minus 31. Find x and the measure of each angle. Well, the ones we want to work with here are K and L because those are across from our congruent legs there. So K and L, those are congruent. So I'm going to say 4x minus 1 equals 9x minus 31. Can't do any combining on the left or the right, so I'm just going to start bringing things to the other side. I chose to start with adding 31. 4x plus 30 equals 9x, that's gone, minus 4x, that's gone, so it's 30 equals 5x, divided by 5, x equals 6. Okay, so now in order to find JK and L, we need to plug those in. So we have 23 times 6 minus 4. 23 times 6 is that's 138. 138 minus 4, that's going to be 134 degrees. For angle L, sorry, that was J. Angle, I'm getting all mixed up here. Angle K, let's do that one next. K is 4x minus 1. 4 times 6 minus 1. That's going to be 24 minus 1. It's 23. And now you could add those and subtract them from 180. Or I'm going to find angle L. That's going to be 9x minus 31. 9 times 6 minus 31. That is 54 minus 31. That's 23 degrees. Which again works out in our, we should know that because K and L, back to our picture, are congruent. We didn't even need to do the math there either. Alright, the last set of problems has to do with congruency statements, congruent parts, and rules for triangle congruency. So when they say congruency statements, they're asking us to write triangle such is congruent to triangle such. The way we do that is we match up congruent parts that are labeled for us. You could look at angles or you could look at sides. So I prefer to look at angles, it's easier for me. So I'm going to start with angle Q here. And since Q has 1 mark in it, I look over there on the other triangle and it has T has 1 mark. Then I'm going to go, you could go with P or R. I'm going to go with P because that has 2 marks. Over here, the U has 2 marks. And over here, the R has 3. And the S has 3. So triangle QPR is congruent to triangle TUS. They want us to write 3. So instead of starting with Q this time, I'm going to start with a different letter in the first triangle. So let's start with triangle. Let's start with P this time. P has 2 marks. It matches with U. R over here matches with S. And Q matches with T. And again, they want us to do 3. So again, the last triangle congruency was triangle PQR is congruent to triangle UST. So for my last statement, I am going to start with my third letter, which would be R. And R has 3, S has 3, so I'm going to put S in my first slot over here. I'm going to go Q next. Q has 1, and T has 1. And I'm going to go with P because P has 2 marks, and U has 2 marks. Now, the key to point out is that these first slots have the same number of markings in them. So R and S both have 3. Q and T are both in the second slot. They both have 1. And P and U in the third slot both have 2. Gotta make sure you match up your angles there. They want us to label the congruent parts. Now what I know is that triangle KPL is congruent to triangle ACM. If I look up here, I want to know what KL is congruent to. K and L are my first and last term. So what I do is go over here and I look at my first and last, and that's AM. Over here I'm looking at AC. AC is on my right, the triangle on the right over here. That's the first and the second. So I'm going to look at K and P over here. Alright, and PL, those are my last 2 letters over here on the left hand side. So I'm going to look at my last 2 on the right hand side, and that's CM. Angles are a little bit easier to pick out. P is in the middle slot of the first triangle, so I'm going to go with the middle slot of the second triangle, that's C. K is the first slot of the left triangle, so I'm going to go with the first slot of the right triangle, that's A. And M is in the last slot of that right-hand triangle, so I'm going to go to the last slot of the left triangle, that's L. Number 20, if triangle WXY is congruent to triangle HJI, complete each part. So JI is asking us for a side, and JI is the last 2 letters here. That matches with XY. So again, JI, XY, I'm looking over here at XY, that's 16. JH, now I notice JH are the first 2 letters, which over here match with the first 2 letters of WX, and I look over here, WX, that's 15. Alright, angle W is the first slot here, and that matches with H, so WH over here is 37. J, that's the middle one, looks like it matches with X. Okay, J matches with X, that's 114. And I is a little bit trickier to figure out because I matches with Y. They don't have anything in Y here. But what I do know is that this H matched with a W, and that was 37. So what I can do to get my third angle is I can go 37 plus 114. It's going to be 151, I believe. Yep, okay, and then I'm going to go 180 minus 151. That's going to be 29 degrees. Okay, so I wrote right here that I have 5 methods to prove triangles are congruent. I have side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side, and hypotenuse, leg, and this one is for right triangles. Because, again, you can't have the hypotenuse and leg of any old regular triangle. Alright, so we're going to use these rules up here, or the choice of not congruent. To answer our questions below, on how they're congruent. So I see that I have an angle here, a side here, an angle here, side here, angle here. What I do notice is that I have two angles and a side, but however my side comes in the middle, so I'm going to go ASA on that one. Right here with letter B, I have two triangles that are connected, and again, when they share a wall, we can say that those are automatically congruent by the reflexive property. And we have three sides marked, side, side, side. Alright, the only thing I can tell about this one is that I have a side and a side here. I do have vertical angles, but that would be side, side angle, and if you look up here, I don't have a side, side angle. The answer is no on that one. The thing that sticks out for me on letter D is that I have this right angle here. The right angle sticks up a big red flag to look for my hypotenuse leg. The hypotenuse is across from the right angle, it's the longest side, and the leg is either of the two that touch the right angle. So to me, I have a hypotenuse and a leg, I have my right triangle, I'm golden. Yes, it's congruent by HL.